Alrighty, what case do we got dealing with here today?
Your Honor, today we have BCSO versus Josh Mcphee for trafficking of Class 2 and robbery.
Alright, can we get opening statements then from prosecution, please?
Good evening, Your Honor. I am Charlotte Olympia, prosecutor of the state, and I am representing the Blaine County Sheriff's Office and the Los Santos Police Department in today's case. My client, Woods Brown, was the arresting officer of Mr. Mcphee in arrest record 749. And based on the evidence and testimonies today, I believe you should find Mr. Mcphee guilty of all charges. Thank you.
Alright, get the opening statement from the defense.
Good evening, Your Honor. As you can see, the evidence or lack thereof in front of you, at this juncture, I don't know why we're even in court and why my client was arrested. We're asking to dismiss all charges due to lack of evidence. Thank you.
Alright, prosecution, do you want to go ahead and present your stuff?
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the court, if you your attention to the court evidence, you will see the arrest record plus some of the photos, evidence of Mr. Mcphee's involvement in the aforementioned crimes. And for my first and only witness, I would like to call the arresting officer, Mr. Woods Brown, to the stand.
I can go ahead and raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Brown, how are you today?
It's rainy outside, or was, so I'm doing okay.
All right. How long
Good.
have you been a law enforcement officer?
I've been off and on throughout the department through San Andreas State Police. Coming up on roughly a year now, so.
In your rough year of employment, do you feel like you have learned the laws and statutes of the state to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Do you believe that you have been provided proper training to understand the rights and wrongs and the lesser and further charges of each of the misdemeanors, felonies, and infractions of the state?
I have.
With that in mind, could you please provide me an accurate recollection of the events which occurred?
Yes, I can. It's just a normal day. I guess it's an average, time on duty. You're getting your robbery calls, reckless driving calls, pretty much everything. Sometimes it goes quiet, sometimes it get a little hectic. Doesn't matter. Responded to a few calls during the night. Can't really remember what I was doing before the traffic stop with Mr. Mcphee, but there's a lot of reckless driving that goes on in the city, and I will say that there were a lot of reckless driving calls in the city at the time of of the traffic stop. but I only saw one. On the CAD, there's a whole list of things going on throughout the city. A lot of reckless driving calls, robberies, etc., whatever you want to know. And a reckless driving call that I looked at were, Vorstand. There was like another 2-3 cars after that. And, we're looking out for these cars. They're reckless driving, so they need to be pulled over and ticketed. And I came up across a Vorstand. Actually, he came to me. Not like, I didn't call him over or anything, but we're at a clothing store, with some other officers just talking about, the events going on throughout the city. And I saw a Vorstand. I looked back through the logs on the CAD, and I saw he's reckless driving. So I pulled him over. Gathered his information, make sure the car comes back to him, and, make sure, his ID's not expired and all that stuff, make sure everything comes back to him. What I remember now is they were a 1090. Judge, I don't know if you're familiar with a 1090. That's a silent alarm, also as a robbery. There was one at Paleto Savings Bank, sorry. And there was a few gentlemen there, like four gunmen. And one of the guys in the bank standed out. I saw his outfit before, but didn't do anything there. Lost what it says in the arrest record. Back to the traffic stop. Further investigated, I noticed Mr. Mcphee's hair. Now it's bright blonde, and it stands out. So running his information back, we looked. He had some priors, and in the mugshot of his latest prior was like I think it was a robbery. I can't recall on what it is. I'd have to look at the CAD at his record, but the same outfit at the 90 later before that traffic stop, the same outfit and same everything that I saw at the 90 was matching up to the mugshot. So I was like, okay, I saw him there. So I investigated further. And that's pretty much why I took him to jail, and he got the charges he got.
All right. It is to my understanding that he self-admitted to having the Class 2 weapons, correct?
Negative. So he didn't self-admit to that. We found that after he was his rights were read to him. Lord, sorry. Investigating the robbery that happened earlier. So he was detained. And then after detainment, we investigated further and found the Class 2s in his trunk, which the description on trafficking Class 2s is 2 or more.
All right.
Class 2 weapons.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right. The defense, do you have any questions for this witness?
I sure do. How you doing today, officer?
I'm doing good, sir. Sorry.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Question. How many people in our city have blonde hair?
Blonde hair?
Yep, blonde hair. Quite a bit, huh? Lot. Couldn't tell me, could you? Could you tell me? You got a number?
I don't have a number, but I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't have an answer for that.
Okay, assumption is there's a lot. And you were in an outfit place and you happened to see a vehicle that was driving erratically and you chased after them, or is that correct?
Negative. That's not correct. Just chilling at the
That
clothing store with some fellow officers, and there was a reckless driving later in the day before we were there, so we're dealing with other calls, and he was one of them
oh,
with
okay.
others reckless driving,
Others.
and
So
I
you
just
don't know if
noticed
it,
to see him.
you don't know if it was him reckless driving. You just know there was reckless driving going on. Like you said, there's tons of it going on in the city, correct?
Yeah, it was a
Objection, Your Honor. That's a leading question.
I'm just he just repeating what he said earlier, Your Honor.
Yeah, he did say that earlier. So if you could, but more phrase it as you're asking him to restate himself versus leading him, please.
Yes, sir. So you would say that there is a lot of reckless driving in this city, and you were responding to calls about it earlier and happened to see blonde-haired guy in a car and pulled him over, correct?
I might have got the wording wrong, but later before at the robbery, I saw a guy with blonde hair, you know what I mean, with the outfit that matches his latest prior, not this arrest record, but the one before it.
Okay, so I'm just wondering why you happened to arrest this guy or even pull him over, search him, anything like that.
Well,
It seems like what we have here is you made an assumption about a person's outfit, hair color, description, and picked out this guy. Correct?
negative. I made the assumption with valid evidence after I got his information and ran it.
After. Correct? So you made an assumption that this is the guy you were looking for. You weren't sure. You just assumed this was. Correct?
Your Honor, my client has answered that numerous times at this point,
I don't think
and
he has.
it is inaccurate information what he is saying.
Not really. It's kind of in his records.
If you look in your record, it will tell you that they did not assume.
He just said he assumed. He said
You
it on the
said he
stand.
assumed. Your Honor,
Will you
if
call
I
me
can
back, Your
finish
Honor?
my objection without being interrupted.
Okay. Just hold on. So you're saying that your objection is that the defense is saying he assumed, correct?
My objection is that he has answered that he has assumed numerous times. He's been asked the same question like 3 times by the defense.
Gotcha. Okay. So then defense, let's move on to the next question. And, so you're not just sitting here repeating the same thing, trying to trip him up. Sound good?
All right. So, I don't have any more further questions, Your Honor.
All right. You may step down, sir.
All right.
Wait, Your Honor, may I redirect?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sit back now. Judge, just 1 second here. Yeah, all right. We're good.
To clear up any confusion, Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Could you clarify how you came to the conclusion that he was involved in the reckless driving?
I'm not a magical man. I can't see, through the CAD and look at the reckless driving call of the VOR stand and see it's, Josh Mcphee. But I saw the vehicle. I pulled it over because there was reports of it reckless driving. So I don't know if it was Josh Mcphee reckless driving earlier, but I pulled him over, just ran his license, ran his ID, checked if he got priors, and
Objection.
that's what led to his arrest.
Hold up, Mr. Brown. We have an objection.
Yes. What was that? You're kind of hard to hear. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm objecting.
Me?
Because he just kind of basically said that.
Her?
Pulled
Who?
him
No,
over.
hold on one second.
Oh,
Sorry. Say you said that again, sir. You're real quiet. Like it's impossible to hear you.
Is that better? Is that better?
Yes, that's better.
All right. I'm objecting because of the answer that he just gave was basically saying that he was under the assumption that this is the guy, which you can't assume something. You have to have fact. We're based this on fact here.
Your Honor, he didn't even get to answer the question. He objected. And you can assume it's just having reasonable suspicion and probable cause, which he
have
was
me-
getting to.
Does that clear up what your objection was? That, yeah, I'm confused to what you're objecting to at this moment because he was explaining that the reason why. Now, maybe you didn't hear him correctly, but from what he said multiple times and what I hear, it seems that they saw a car of the same type in the vicinity where they had been getting reckless calls, so they pulled it over just to see who it was, an investigatory stop. That's what it sounds like.
Your Honor. You can't just pull somebody over for no.
Yes, you can. There are reports of the of reckless driving with that vehicle type. They were doing a quick check.
Your Honor, how many vehicle types meet this description in the city?
You know what? I'll just continue because he's confusing the hell out of me.
So just to make things clear, I mean, I don't feel that they were not within their powers to pull him over to see who he was. They pull people over all the time. I don't understand what you're getting at here.
Never mind, Your Honor. Go ahead.
I have no further questions as we have cleared up any confusion as far as I'm concerned.
So I'm a little confused. You said earlier, defense, that this shouldn't have been a case. That you're saying that he wasn't found with weapons on him, for the charge that
I'm
he.
saying they didn't have probable cause to search him, to arrest him, to pull him over, because people around the city saying that people were reckless driving, and he happened to be in a clothing store with a bunch of other officers that happened to not be here to see the same thing.
Objection, Your Honor. I do not believe he is knowledgeable of the case.
I'm just repeating what he said.
You are not. You are putting words into my client's mouth.
Leave, pulled over, just around the corner. It says it here in the report. Did you not read the report of their reason why they pulled him
Your
over?
Honor, or him?
No, the defense. Did you not read the report why they pulled him over?
Bear with me, Your Honor.
That they had reckless driving for that type of car, so they pulled it over to see who it was. And then upon finding out who it was.
Yeah, I read that part. But them, just because somebody sees a car that looks similar, does not mean that you have the right to just stop that vehicle and search that person.
Objection, Your Honor. I still do not
that
believe that he has read this report.
So the way it works is that they get the report of the reckless driving in the area. And so then they were in the area and they pulled over the car that had the same type to see who it was. That's kind of how it works. I mean, the other officer's going to test that's how they've been trained and how the city's SOPs are for it to work. That it's not a end all be all of they're guilty. You pull it over for investigatory at most, unless you've seen them do it. And I believe that's what happened here, correct? Unless I'm reading this wrong.
I didn't see him reckless drive. I just got a call for it, and I just
Right.
saw the car, and then look back at the reckless driving call, and I was like, okay, there's a VOR stand here, and there's a VOR stand on the call, so I'm gonna pull it over and check it out.
Right. And then that's why he wasn't arrested for reckless driving.
He was not arrested for reckless driving.
They arrested him for the perceived thing of the robbery, what we're here to look at.
And further things that were found in his possession, in in his trunk.
Right. Because he matched description of the
robbery.
robber.
Yes.
And so as per the way we do things here in the city, that he went to jail and did not want to think it was a good ID. So he came here so we could take a look at the ID.
Sorry to cut you off, Judge. You can continue, sorry. Well, the reason, I guess I'll continue, you're done. Well, see, he was going to plead guilty in the cells, but that's if I dropped the time that he was given, and I didn't agree with it.
Okay, well that's now I'm going to stop you there. The defense should be objecting because that's just that's hearsay.
Hearsay.
Yeah.
Objection. But
On that part. As to why he'd want to go through the system, that is not necessarily what we're looking at here. But then we're looking at the facts of what happened, and that's what happened. So looking at from the pictures they have of the robbery, pictures of the arrest, I mean, it's this person right here sitting in front of me, 100%. So I don't understand that aspect of it. He clearly had two weapons on him that he shouldn't have had.
Honor, if you may. I was just arguing the fact that they wouldn't have found nothing in the search if they would have never searched it to begin with. So that's all I'm saying.
Objection, Your Honor. That makes zero sense. I mean, it makes full sense, but zero sense to
me.
What I think he's just trying to stall this so we get frustrated and side with him.
Objection, Your Honor. I don't know.
Okay, I think I was going a little far there,
Yeah,
prosecution.
so.
Let me see here. So you're saying they had no reason to pull him over?
If he had dash cam footage, body cam footage, any type of another officer, anything, a witness of some sort that said, yeah, that's the car, that's him.
Your Honor, we have answered this 1,000 times.
Wait, hold on. I want to clarify. What do you mean? Of what part of that's him? Sorry.
He's saying he didn't actually see my client reckless drive. He said that numerous times, but yet he pulled over this vehicle because it matched the description of a call that he received earlier. Correct?
Objection,
Yes.
Your Honor,
That's what that's. Hold on. Yes. Correct, because
driving.
that's what their procedure is to do. Yes.
So if there's let me get this correct. If there's a reckless driving call from a citizen in this city, you can pull over any vehicle closely matching that description for any reason.
In the area where it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah, to pull them over and just to check it out and see who it is? Yes. That's as far as I know. I mean,
I just thought that would be like an infringement on your rights kind of thing.
Your Honor, if I may, it's not an infringement on the rights because they're not being detained. If
right, it
they
was
were
just for
being
questioning.
wrongfully detained, that would be a different story. Simply pulling someone over, I've been pulled over because my vehicle has matched the description, but I've never had anything happen.
It's
a relatively common occurrence.
I've been walked up to and asked who I was for standing on the street and looking like somebody. I mean, that's kind of what they
That's
do.
unfortunate that you get questioned just standing on a street, but you shouldn't. I mean, you should be able to stand wherever you want or drive wherever you want without being scared that you're going to be pulled over because somebody might have did something in a car that looks like yours. But I guess that's up to your discretion.
Right. I mean, that isn't that correct? Two officers to my left, that's your SOPs as you pull them over to see who they are, that you're
Objection.
able to do that.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'd say that's correct. Reasonable suspicion.
Right. If he was the model car
Do you have
in
a
the
license
area,
plate number or what? I mean, what are we going off of?
Your Honor, we have answered this 1,000 times.
No,
Is
no,
it
so-
possible we can move on from this?
just hold on, we're clearing this up for him. So, officer, could you explain to us what the notification looks like when you receive a call from locals about that kind of thing?
Yes. So the call will pop up in dispatch. It's gonna be a 1049. It's gonna have the code number, which is 1049. It's gonna have the name for it, reckless driving. Then it's gonna have information about the reckless driving call. It's gonna have the area. It's gonna have the car, and it's gonna have the color of the vehicle.
And the area is marked on your map, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so then they went and they found a car in that area to pull it over to talk to him, which likely 90% of the time, I'd imagine, leads to, you've been speeding, and the guy says no, and you let him go, correct?
Correct.
My email ain't working.
Sorry, what did you say, sir?
I said correct.
No, I think he's depressing. The defense said something.
sorry.
I just didn't hear it.
Oh,
I can't hear him up here.
Sorry.
Sorry.
All right. Now, do you kind of understand what happened now? Defense?
Yes, sir.
And then so, interrupt me a few times now. So then they looked at his appearance and his past crimes and arrested him for the robbery on the evidence that they had and that they had posted. And then they also arrested him for the discovery of the weapons. And then so your client here is saying that he didn't rob and that he also didn't have the weapons. It was a legit stop, and this is what happened. So he's saying he didn't rob, correct, and he didn't have the weapons on him? Is that what he's saying?
He's not saying he didn't have the weapons. He's saying he wasn't part of the robbery.
Gotcha.
And
Why
it
did he
wasn't
not?
Legal.
Why did he
search.
not deny? Then why did he, have to fight? Why did he fight both charges? I don't understand that. If he had the weapons on him 100%, couldn't he have just pled guilty to the weapons and not the robbery? Like, I don't understand.
It was an illegal search of the vehicle, Your Honor. I mean, it was just an all-around illegal search and seizure.
And you're saying it's illegal because they didn't have probable cause for it?
Probable cause, yes. Yeah, they pulled him over for the robbery. He wasn't getting even investigated for the reckless. So I don't.
Say that. So you're saying he pulled him over because of the robbery, not the reckless? Is that what you're saying?
That's what they told me. They pulled him over.
That's what they told your client? Is that what they told you, son? That they pulled you over for the robbery? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they asked me to step out of the vehicles as I was a suspect
No,
for a robbery, which I had no idea of.
No. Hold on. I'm not asking you to step out of the vehicle. When they first stopped you, the thing that your lawyer here seems to be talking about over and over again, when they pulled you over and stopped you, it was because of the robbery? Because that's what he just said, that you said.
When I asked why I was stopped, yes, they said it was because I matched a description of a robbery suspect.
So then you didn't pull him over for the reckless call? Is that correct, officer?
I disagree.
What?
The main reason why he got pulled over was for the reckless driving.
Is that what you told him?
Yes. First thing you do when you approach a vehicle is you announce yourself. You know your, badge number, what department you're with, and then the reason why you stopped them.
Your Honor, if you may, if they pulled him over for the reckless, they had no reason to pull him out of the vehicle. So which one was it?
Your Honor,
There's two separate. Okay. No, we're done here. We're done with this trial. Because those are two separate things. You're mixing up. Okay, you keep getting mixed up. The reckless, right? They pulled him over for the reckless, and then they saw who he was. Okay, and when they were looking up his history in the cab, which you can look up now, he was wearing the same outfit that he's worn in multiple robberies, the same outfit that he's in these pictures. I don't like. It's just if you were fighting you're fighting the wrong battle here, sir. I don't understand. Like, you should have been fighting a robbery charge, not worried about reckless. Like, it's crazy to me. It really is. It's crazy to me that a guy having two guns on him is like, oh, I don't have the guns on me. I don't understand that. It's just, I don't know what you're looking to get here. I don't know if you're trying to. Now I'm wondering if you're just trying to game the system, and I need to look at, wasting time of the charges here and send you away with the 9s. Do you know what I'm saying here? You see what I'm looking at? You see how that makes sense? That someone is not going to plead guilty when they have two weapons on them, to having weapons on them.
Okay.
Do we see that? Like, I mean, I'm not. So Mcphee, do you see where I'm looking at with that? Like, why you said you didn't have, you know what I mean? Like, why did you not have, you said you had the weapons. It seems to me like you were trying to wiggle out of this, right? When you admitted here that you had the weapons on you, but you didn't want to plead guilty to having the weapons on you and make this go like smoother.
I did not know that the weapons were in my trunk at the time, sir.
No, I understand that, and it was sit here, but then like they were on you, right? And you didn't protest to that I see here that they weren't your weapons or anything like that. And then I was prepared. I read this thing and I was prepared for that. So if you're saying you didn't know the weapons were there, right? That means someone put them into your trunk. Do you have any idea who that could have been? You want to point fingers at someone and I'll go get them arrested right now? Is that what we're doing with this?
The last time I had used that vehicle was months ago. I don't even recall who I was with.
It's your car, right?
Yeah, the war stand.
It's been in your possession for months?
Yep.
And only you can take it out of the garage, correct?
Correct.
I'm just at a loss here for. All right. So here's what we're going to do.
Your Honor, may I approach just to talk to you real quick?
Yes.
I honestly feel a little bad for Mr. Mcphee for everything that went down. I think personally, as prosecution, I am seeking minimum fines and charges because I feel bad for what just happened.
So I got it. It'll be okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
All right, so now when I've looked at the evidence, and I've already thought about this a little bit and reading it, and I didn't hear anything different than what I read in the thing. There is reasonable suspicion that was him, but it's not enough concrete evidence that it was him in the robbery. As stated in here, it could have been somebody else. It really could have. There could have been someone with that hair, right? You didn't catch him with any of the stuff from the robbery. You didn't catch him in the vehicle that fled, correct? The vehicle that fled was assaulted?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I didn't catch him in that vehicle or any possession of the robbery.
Right.
Just in his floor stand.
Right. So now that we're gonna be not guilty on that, just because there's enough leeway there. Like you stated, defense. Remember, you said that a million people with the haircut.
Yep.
Right. But you had the weapons on you, right? They're in your possession of your car, right? You cannot provide that you didn't put them there, correct? Other than you saying I didn't put them there.
Yeah, I can't recall who put them there. So.
Right. And we have no proof that you didn't do it there or that you did. So since they're in your possession, that's kind of how that rolls. So you're going to be found guilty on that part, but not the robbery, because he wasn't found in the robbery location, wasn't found in a robbery vehicle. Well, he may have looked like it, right? He didn't have any of the robbery loot, as they call it. I just don't think there's enough there to place him, especially when there was a time difference right between the robbery and when you found him.
Yeah, it's like can't recall on how far apart, from the
Beginning of robbery, I have at 17:35.
Okay.
Beginning end of traffic stop is 51. Like 4.5 hours, right? Quick math.
Negative.
No,
That's
that's
gonna be the body cam timestamps.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, so then body timestamps, then that would be about an hour later, give or take. Well, about 45 minutes. In another part of town.
Yeah.
And y'all were staked out by. It says in here you were staked out by the, I'm guessing, pawn shop, wherever they sell the stuff at, and he wasn't seen going in there, nor did he have any of the stuff, even though he was in the vicinity.
No, he wasn't seen going in or out.
No large sum of money's on him.
No.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna do not get you on the robbery, and then for the weapons. How does that sound to everybody here? Does that make sense? Why that would be
What do you think?
what I'm looking at?
Okay, Your Honor.
Sorry, say that again.
That sounds good, Your Honor.
Yeah. Prosecution, does that make sense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Let me look at the times for that. Because I was late today due to unforeseen things, translates to in my head, my cat broke some glass, and I got to take that up. We're gonna go off of his 3 times. By the way, I looked it up. It is 3 times in addition to what he already served. It'll be 3 times the minimum. Okay, that's what we're gonna do because I was late. So what is 3? Let me look to see what 3 times the minimum of trafficking is. Okay, 1 second. I guess 105, I believe. Is that correct? And then the fine would be
12,000, Your Honor.
12. Okay. So then what would he get for the robbery? So robbery would have been was it armed robbery or regular robbery?
It was regular, Your Honor.
Regular. So then 3K off of that. So what is that? 9. So 9,000 and then 105 months is what we're looking at.
You already got time served, correct?
So what was that?
Okay. Oh, I was talking to my client. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now let me take a look at one more thing. Okay, if you don't know, all of y'all can look into Discordia. There is a GeoDay bulletin board, and in there it has about court hearings. And it says here they will be fined 3 times and the original fees they received from law enforcement upon their arrest. If the charges are listed at judge's discretion, then it is up to me. The little example there, it is basically it's the time is in addition to what he already served. And then the money is 3 times the minimum. So that's why that worked out that way, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So you're gonna have to do the 105. Okay. If it was something that I had judge's discretion of, you know, on the high end or whatever, I do it the other way. But I think giving you what he served 100, right?
Correct.
All right. So what we'll do 90 for you. Okay. So it's gonna be the fine of 9,000 and then 90 months. What we're gonna do for you. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now I understand things are a little crazy in here. Just in future, let's try to fight the charges, you know, directly. I mean, I understand there's probable cause and all that stuff, but then this needs to be a hearing about that. You know what I mean? Not to fight his charges. You know, plead guilty to the charges or whatever, and then sue him for, you know, malpractice or something, and then it's a different hearing. Does that make sense? We're here. Why this was billed as, you know, he's pleading not guilty that he didn't do these charges versus one that you want to attack the whole system of probable cause and whatnot. And
Yes,
if
Your
we
Honor.
want to do that, we can have it all day. I'll gladly sit here and we can rework stuff. We'll talk to the governor. We'll rework whatever we need to rework. But I want it to be a hearing about that. I want to come in, you know, from my long day and then, you know, to see whether he was guilty or not. And then all of a sudden, I had an ethical dilemma of fighting over what we believe, you know, constitutes just cause and probable search and all that. That makes sense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, I believe coming up soon, there is a big hearing, not a hearing, but like a open forum that they usually do here in the city about where you can raise concerns like that, changes the laws. I think recently, last year, they changed the thing about stoplights are being treated as stop signs versus stoplights. So like stuff like that, like you're saying, we can definitely do that there for sure too.
Question, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
So this is kind of like a stop and frisk city, correct?
No, I don't believe it's that far to it. I think it's is that correct, officers? It's not 100% stop and frisk. It's kind of stop and investigate kind of thing. I think it's not that far as to where they can stop them and then just search them just because. Does that make sense?
Okay, I just want to clarify.
Correct, officers? You don't do that? You don't just stop people and then search them for no reason?
No, not unless I have PC.
Yeah, usually it's something matching either a known criminal, right? If they know you're, you know, if it's, what's that one gentleman that was in here the other day? Mio. If it's John Mio and they see John Mio and there was a thing alert out that John Mio robbed me, you know, they're going to stop John Mio. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Of course, if they know who the guy is, I guess. Yeah.
Right. And then that's what happened with him is that he looked exactly how he looked in their previous where they took pictures of him. And that matched his, you know, what the robbery was then. That's why that was, you know, the cause for that. But I'm just going to shoot that down because he didn't have the loot over him and he wasn't in the vehicle. You know what I'm saying? You see how that went?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I got for today. If you guys could get him squared away and sent away, and then we'll call it good. Also, the officer who is not on the stand, please be the one to send him away. Just that way, you know, no malfeasance there. I'm sure you would prefer that defense as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we'll call this one close. Thank y'all very much for showing up.
Thank you for your time, Your Honor.